We now start to create from the infinite self rather than the small self. What do I mean by that? I mean, we don't create from the ego, which is the small self that's defined by all the masks and the personas that we think we are, right? The mother, the father, the student, the worker, the teacher, all these masks. We don't create from there. We create from the infinite self, right? Going back to the God that's inside of us, the unit, the divinity that's inside of us, the oneness that's inside of us, that field that's connected to all that's inside of us. So we create from there. Because if we create from there, we're connected to the all. We're connected to the infinite.
Welcome to the Cosmic Love Antenna Podcast. This podcast is meant to encourage you to connect within so you can share your light with the world. And now, here's your host, Harrison Ma.
Welcome, beautiful mystical beings, back to another episode of the Cosmic Love Antenna. You've found yourself on your weekly installment of your inner connection to your outer expression, where I, your host Harrison, set the loving foundation and intention to nurture the loving space needed to pull back the layers restricting health, alignment, and love. And today's energizing episode, I'm so excited to share this with you. Today's energizing episode is a solo-sode, again, with just me and myself sharing some love with you. The intention of these shows is to teach and coach and educate and share some wisdom from my heart to yours, to give you more nuanced and specialized value on a particular topic. Today's topic is manifesting abundance and creation energy. If you get a bit of value out of this chat today, if it hits your heart, how you can help me expand the show is by sharing this out to friends, family members, and lovers. I'm also really excited and I look forward to your reviews over on Apple and Spotify as well. So that's also how you can support the show. Before we get into this today, it's also a reminder that I have some coaching slots available for beautiful souls when you listen to this episode on the release. So if you're looking to dive into this topic today or anything else I talk about here on the show in a one-on-one capacity, please reach out on all social feeds and we can have a conversation about what that looks like. All right. So today we're going to get into this topic, all things manifestation, abundance, and creation energy. I want to talk about today what is the link here, right? What is manifestation? How do we start creating? How do we start connecting into abundance? What is the connection to the cosmic love antenna that you are? I'm going to be doing this by using the framework of 15 powerful keys of creation energy that I'll explain in a bit here. This is going to be part 1 of 2, right? So I'm not going to get to all of them today. I'm going to split this up into 2 sections just so because there's going to be a lot. So I want to make this very manageable for you. I'm going to be talking about how to unlock your manifesting abilities, your abundance, your creation energy. And I want you, as always with these shows, to really don't just listen with your beautiful mind. Feel these words, feel the frequency that I channel through them, right? Because that in itself is going to really help you grasp and understand this concept today. And you'll see why very quickly. Before we get into it, one last little piece here. As I said at the top of the show, ways that you can support me getting this frequency out there, getting it out to more hearts that might need this kind of discussion is through your reviews. And I want to read out one of the beautiful reviews that has been already sent because I read every single one and I'm so grateful for all of them. This is from the beautiful Yoga Junkie 1017. And this beautiful soul says, a guiding light. I had the honor to sit down with Harrison and have a beautiful love-woven discussion about all things crystals and our energy grid and so much more. We connected so deeply on these topics and the channeled messages came forth effortlessly. How wonderful it was. I look forward to tuning in and also being a guest, as it truly is a remarkable podcast, one of self-discovery, thoughtfulness, and of course, love. Well, thank you, beautiful Jen, who is behind that username. Jen's coming up on the show and I'll be releasing an episode with her very quickly, as she alluded to. And I can't wait to share it with the world. But Jen, thank you for the love, my friend. I receive it in my heart and it inspires me to keep doing these shows. So thank you for sharing that with me. All right, beautiful beings, with all this foundation, let's get into the topic at hand today, and let's break down and get you manifesting, get you connected to your abundance and your beautiful creation energy. So what I'm going to do here now is give you a powerful resource that I am going to be referencing throughout these two parts. And I'm going to be using as a framework to add on my own experience, perspective, and teachings and understandings. As always with these kinds of shows, I would highly recommend you check out this resource as an extra element of everything I'll be talking about today. It'll give you more guidance, more love, right? The powerful resource is 2 books by Greg Braden. The first is The Spontaneous Healing of Belief, and the second is The 15 Keys to Conscious Creation. All right, I'm going to be referencing those keys, so please read these books if you have not already. I also just want to make a link here to the cosmic love antenna that you are. You've heard me speak about this love frequency throughout the many topics on this show. And that love frequency equals your creation energy. It's the same thing, right? Your ability to manifest, your ability to tap into the beautiful co-creator with the universe that you are. This is your love frequency. This is your spiritual cosmic love that I talk about all the time here on the show. Right? So don't think of these as separate things. Right? When you tap into your love frequency, you are tapping into your creation energy and thus your manifestation of abundance. Okay, so as I'll be using all these words interchangeably today, but just remove all confusion and just realize that they're all the same thing. Right? You are made of pure cosmic love. You are made of pure creation energy. You are made of pure abundance. So with that, I'm going to now go down each of these keys. I'm going to add in extra tips, guidance, and insight on top of them. All right, so the first one here today, and as I'm saying these keys, remember to feel, acknowledge them. Really ask yourself, how does this feel for me as I break down each of these keys? The first one here today is a field of intelligent energy bathes the universe and connects all things. This is a beautiful place to start because this flows perfectly on with what I was just saying. Right, this field that connects us all is that love field, right? Is that creation field. That blank space that you see between me and you is an illusion. I'm going to be talking about that today. Right, as an example, this is why we can do distance healing. Right, if you've done any Reiki, right? If you've been coached by me and we've had meditations together, I'm on the other side of the world to you, even on this podcast, right? You can feel my words in your body as if I'm right there next to you. It is because of this field. It is because, as I speak about often, you are the container of love within a container of love, right? You are not your thoughts and emotions. You are the container of love that holds them. But you are the micro of the macro. So that field is also the container of love that holds you. So this is the first piece of understanding here to understand. As we move on to key number 2 here, everything in the universe is connected to everything else. Say that one again. Everything in the universe is connected to everything else. Right, so this flows beautifully on from, let me just turn my beautiful phone off. This flows on beautifully from what I was just mentioning about the illusion of separation. But what this also highlights, which is very important here as we go forward, is that there is no past and no future. They all fold into and are connected into this present moment. Everything is connected to everything else, right? This is why, if you've been listening to this show in any capacity, you hear me talk about the inner child and ancestral healing and why you can do this work right now in this moment, despite the seemingly large amount of time that has passed, because no time has passed, because all of your inner children, all of your ancestors and ancestral chains that you deserve to break, they exist and are connected to you in this moment. So when we're looking to manifest, connecting to our abundance energy, we don't need to wait. We can tap into it now because it's here and it's connected to us in this moment. All right, so if this is already a bit out there for you, I encourage you, again, you don't need to logically understand these as of this point. Just notice how they resonate in your body. Moving on to key number 3 here. In order to make change, i.e. to start manifesting and bringing about the abundance we want in many ways, in order to make change, we have to see ourselves as part of the world rather than separate. In order to make change, we have to see ourselves as part of the world rather than separate. This is exactly what I was alluding to a second ago around we are the micro of the macro. Us as humans, we are not separate not only to all the humans around us, but we're not separate to the earth, to the animals, to the other planets, the solar system, the universe. So if we're looking to manifest and connecting to our creation energy, we must move beyond this outdated idea that there is a separation between me and you. We have to see ourselves as part of the whole because we are the whole. I've spoken about this on other shows. Yes, the small self, the ego self, thinks it's separate, but when you start to meditate and connect into your love frequency, you start to connect to the big self, right? The oneness, the divinity that's inside of you. And that divinity is all. And we can connect to that. This is also why when we do healings together, and again, probably why when you listen to these episodes, I can feel your feelings and you can feel my feelings. Right? This is where our clear empathy and our ability to be empathic with someone and pick up what their thoughts and feelings are. It's because we are not separate. This is also why many of us are so impacted by collective events, whether they be astrological, whether they be things like COVID or wars in Russia, whatever it is. This is why collective events, even though they might seemingly be on the other side of the world, they impact us because they are not separate from us. But we often forget, and this is where the manifestation comes in, we only focus on the negative. We don't ask ourselves, what if I could impact that collective event positively through my love, through my creation energy? And it's not a what if, it's a very real thing. So if we're looking to start manifesting and tapping into our creation energy, we must move beyond the distance we feel is between not just us, but the world, the animals, and everything else that is God and consciousness and is love. Test this right now. Right? Can you feel my emotions, my feelings, my love for all of you through my words and this podcast? Yes, there's a spectrum in which we are sensitive, but all of you should be able to feel at least something. And that in itself shows you this very powerful key here. This flows on to key number 4. Key number 4 is once something is physically joined, it's always connected. As the beautiful Greg Braden quotes in his book, he says, we are all made of the same stardust. And this is so beautiful and highlights that we are all unique soul expressions of the same source. of the same oneness, of the same God, of the same love frequency. And if we embody and acknowledge that truth, then this is where our manifestation and creation energy begins. And I'll come back to that in a second here, but I want you to bring another analogy that I use within my teachings to help people. Think of your unique soul expression as a breath out of God or oneness, right? The oneness breathes out and it creates all of its individual soul expressions to have all of its individual experiences and interactions here on this planet in soul school, and then breathes in all of those experiences, all of those interactions, all of those manifestations to understand and to learn. So love can experience love. So God can experience God. So oneness can experience itself. Right? That is where the connection is made. And I'd actually take it a step further. It's not just once something is physically joined, it's always connected. I would take it further and add to this. Once we are spiritually joined, mentally joined, emotionally joined, it's always connected. This is why if you're looking to manifest a partner, if you're looking to manifest a relationship, love in your life, what you can do in this moment is start feeling what that already has felt like, right? You can start to embody how that partner is going to make you feel. And because you are joined already to this unique soul expression, even if you don't remember meeting them yet, right? We don't even need to get into past lives here, but that is why this works, because you are joined to that person you are yet to meet. So if you embody it and feel it, acknowledge it here in this moment, that is what pulls the attraction in. This is also why, let's move on from a romantic partner here. Let's talk about soul family. This is why you can connect to soul family. This is why you can bring in beautiful soul contracts, people that you want to work with and collaborate with and build love with. It's because you're already connected to them. Your physical ego self doesn't know that. But your love frequency does, your creation energy does, the God and divinity inside of you does. So it's about connecting to that. The next key here, and we're moving through these beautifully. I hope this is just a little pause. I hope this is resonating. I really want you to make a conscious choice to take action on these keys. And don't just take my word for this. Embody it. Ask yourself, how can I use this in my life? Right? The next key here, number 5, is the act of observation is an act of creation unto itself. The act of observation is an act of creation unto itself. This is the famous observer effect that maybe if you've listening, you've looked into the quantum theory of it all. For those new to it, for put very simply, when we bring our conscious awareness to something within the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical world, that in itself shifts and changes the reality of that thing. So this is another way of explaining this. This is why, if you've done any kind of healing work with me, and I'll reference the episode I did on the 7 A's of healing from Gabor Mate, this is why awareness is one of the 7 A's of healing. It's because when we bring conscious awareness to something that's unconscious, such as an inner child wound, an ancestral chain, a limiting belief, a stuck emotion, just the act of the awareness alone shifts things, changes things, heals things, transforms things. So this in itself is creation energy, right? This in itself helps us shift and transform without even you taking any other actions. And we'll talk about this in part 2, but other actions are a bonus, right? The awareness itself heals and changes. Another way of explaining it is everything that you've manifested already in the external world that you see in your life is secondary. Why is it secondary? It's because the moment you observed the thought of it in your mind, it was already real. Right. So for example, if I'm wanting to manifest, this is a very real thing in my life right now. I'm wanting to manifest more speaking opportunities, getting out into the world, being in front of beautiful beings. The moment I close my eyes and feel and think about those opportunities and what they look like, they're already real. That observation, that's making it real. When it comes to me in physical reality, it's secondary. This is so important for you to understand, because if you can get this, then this is what starts to create everything in your life that you deserve, all of the abundance. Right, so remember the power of your observation, the power of your awareness, and how in itself it changes and shifts things. Next up here, in these last two, there's a bit in these, so I'm going to take these slow just so they really seep in. Key number 6 is we have all the power we need to create all of the change we choose. We have all of the power we need to create all of the change we choose. This is so fundamental in connecting into your manifestation, abundance, and creation energy, because what this is reminding us is that you are the most powerful person in your reality. Let me say that again. You, the beautiful soul that is listening to this episode, you are the most powerful person in your reality. And if you do not feel that, if you do not see that, if you do not think that way, then there is a limiting belief that is stopping you. Right? Speak truth from my heart to yours. You have all of this creation energy, this abundance inside of you, right? We've already connected to this, made this through these points today, right? For example, if you see someone that is abundant, let's just pick anyone in your life that has some form of abundance that you feel like you desire. It's so easy for us to be envious and to be jealous of them, right? I'm right there with you if you've felt this way. But through this lens we're talking about here today, it shows us, because we are them, we are connected to them, we are not separate to them, we are made of the same magic as them. The very fact that they have obtained the abundance they have shows you that you can do it too, because they are you. They are pulling from the same power as you. It's just in itself that shows and shifts some things here. But if you don't believe that, if you're still stuck in the jealousy and the envy and the victim and the I can't do this, I'm not worthy, then the work here is with you. The work here is within you. What are some examples of some inner work that you could do where these limiting beliefs and stories and stuck emotions are probably kept? You know what I'm going to say. This is your inner child work. This is your ancestral work. Right? The thing that's stopping your abundance and creation energy and manifestation energy from coming through are these limiting beliefs that are stopping you from acknowledging the power that is you. Right? If you were told as a child over and over and over again that you have no value, that you are weak, that you are small, that you are not enough, then of course you're not going to acknowledge your power, because those are the stories and the beliefs that are playing, most likely unconsciously. But as we talked about in the last point, if you bring your conscious awareness to these unconscious limitations that are dictating your reality, you can change that. You can release that. You can move on from it. If there is a limiting belief, much like there was in my ancestral line, right? My beautiful grandfather, for example, grew up in the Depression. So he created the story and belief that he must be frugal, that he must hold in all his money, not spend it because he might lose it due to the fear of the collective. Then that story, that belief is running in my background, right? leaving me in a scarcity mindset, leaving me in a scarcity belief, stopping me from acknowledging my power, my potential, my abundance. So what is the solution? The solution is to break that chain, is to release myself from that limitation so I can understand and feel the greater reality and the truth of what I am. Truth of what I am is that I am powerful beyond all measure, and I have all the capacity in the world to tap into my abundance and my creation energy. Another example here, religious trauma, something I've talked about so much on this show, right? If you have some kind of religious trauma in your ancestral line, i.e., divinity, God, power is outside of you, is a man on a cloud, judging you, keeping score of you, then of course you're going to feel small. Of course you're going to feel weak. Of course you're going to feel like you don't have the power because that power is outside of you. Right? This is so deep. I want you to hear this. Right? If that is a story that is playing in your psyche unconsciously, it is creating the reality in which, of course, you don't tap into your abundance because that power is outside of you. It's not inside of you. Right? So if there is religious trauma in your ancestral line, and plot twist, it probably is because most of us have it, myself included, then that is something you need to release. That is something you need to move on from. That is something you need to realize you have a choice to let go of. Right? And this is really the big point here with this one, is that these stories, these beliefs, these traumas, these wounds that are restricting us from seeing our power to create the change we choose is a choice. It might be an unconscious choice that we're holding on to, but it's still a choice. So what do? We bring conscious awareness to it to then make the conscious choice to release and let go and tap into what our abundance actually is, to tap into what our manifestation and creation energy actually is. You can hear me getting confident and excited about all this because it's so fundamentally true. I've seen this in my world. I've seen this in beautiful souls I've got to support and connect to. And there's no reason, you the beautiful listener, you can't do this as well. Okay, so make a different choice. Acknowledge this. Let's keep going here. Key number 7 is the focus of our feelings and our beliefs about our feelings become the reality of our world. The focus of our feelings and our beliefs about our feelings become the reality of our world. Right? This one you could tell is already very powerful, because this is showing now the emotional and mental connection here, and really showing us that, again, this goes back to these stories and beliefs shaping our reality. If I'm stuck in the thought and the belief that I'm not worthy, then that is what the reality, like we've already stated already, that is still me, that is me. It's showing me, it's mirroring me. So we must learn to shift and change the feelings and beliefs. Because if we can shift and change the feelings and beliefs, we shift and change our external reality. This shows us the power of these interactions together. But it also shows you the power of something very important here. It shows you the power of your heart. It shows you the power of your love. Right? And this is where it comes back into the love frequency. Right? The focus of our feelings and our beliefs about our feelings becomes our reality. This shows us not just the power of our stories and the thoughts that we keep thinking, but the feelings around them. So, for example, if you're looking to manifest something, then you don't want to do it through your thinking mind. You don't want to do it through your thoughts and beliefs that are most likely negative and not yours, right? Projected onto you by persons, places, and things. You want to do it through your heart. You want to do it through your heart portal and your love power. You want to feel it, not just with many beautiful different kinds of emotions and feelings like I feel divine when I'm in this manifestation. I feel worthy. I feel abundant. I feel magnificent. I feel wonderful. I feel graceful. I feel easeful, right? All of these beautiful feeling words. You also want to feel it, add it with love. Add your love frequency to it. Feel that love frequency of that manifestation. Right? It's because this love frequency and the heart portal that it exists in, your heart is not just an emotional center. Yes, it's all these emotional things that are powerful, but your heart is also the seat and the space of your spirit and soul. So when we are creating from here, rather than creating from our mind, we are connected to our divinity. We're connected to our true power. So you want to make again, coming back to this word, the choice, the conscious choice to create from your love space, from your love power, from your love portal, your heart portal. Because if you can wrap and soak your manifestations in this love frequency, then that is where you really start to manifest. That is where you really start to create the reality that you want. Right? We now start to create from the infinite self rather than the small self. What do I mean by that? I mean, we don't create from the ego, which is the small self that's defined by all the masks and the personas that we think we are, right? The mother, the father, the student, the worker, the teacher, all these masks. We don't create from there. We create from the infinite self, right? Going back to the God that's inside of us, the unit, the divinity that's inside of us, the oneness that's inside of us, that field that's connected to all that's inside of us. So we create from there. Because if we create from there, we're connected to the all. We're connected to the infinite. I hope this is resonating. I hope this is making sense. Right? And you can start to see now why this is connected and linked to everything I discuss here on the Cosmic Love Antenna. Right? Because it is that frequency of love that not just holds you and helps you heal, and that just helps you shift and release childhood trauma and ancestral wounds and all the things you deserve to move through. It is also that frequency of love and that love container that you are that helps you manifest your dreams and desires. Right? The abundance that you want in your relationships, the abundance that you want in your business, the abundance that you want in your health. It's all there in that heart portal. Okay, going to do one more here today, beautiful souls. And this is a beautiful place to actually end this first part, because it gives you something I've been sort of alluding to throughout this chat. So the last one here, key number 8, before we take a break, is to simply say that we choose our new reality isn't enough. Right? To simply say that we choose our new reality isn't enough. So what this is alluding to here is that we must take conscious, inspired action. Right? We must take action on the things we wish to manifest. What this is saying is that yes, we want to feel and move through that energy and that creation energy. That's the feminine in many ways, right? To put it very clearly for everyone listening. But we also want to invoke the divine masculine. What is the divine masculine? The divine masculine is taking a step, taking an action. Right? We must align and claim the feelings and the manifestations and the creation energy that we are obviously moving through when we start to visualize. We must claim them by stepping forward into them. Right? Follow that feeling, follow that creation energy, follow that abundance. Because when we take that action, it's saying we're making a choice to walk down this timeline. We're making a choice to embody this creation energy that we are. Right. So for example, let me be very specific here, so this is very clear for all of you. Let's say that, again, let's go back to my example. Let's say that in my manifestations, I am creating and manifesting more speaking opportunities in front of physical people, doing workshops, retreats, etc. Then I'm feeling it, tapping into it, feel the emotions of love, feel the emotions of connection, feel the emotions of support, all these things. But then I now take an action to align me towards this. What would be an action? Well, let's say within my workday, I get an email from a particular person and it feels the same. Right? I take action and respond to that email. Let's say I'm talking to a client and they bring up an idea around speaking and sharing and a workshop. I take action. Right? Let's say that I am speaking to a family member and they mention another speaking opportunity or a topic around speaking or a topic around a group. Then I take action. I share. I make the choice to embody the feelings and express them forward. Okay, so the question here for you is, and this is from beautiful Greg Braden's work here. This is his quote. He quotes, "What actions can you take to support your choice of a new reality?" Right? That's a very powerful question. And this now aligns us and allows, just adding my view on this, this allows, again, our divine masculine to dance with our divine feminine. Right? It shows and gives us balance, because this creation energy cannot move forward, cannot be balanced, cannot continue, cannot sustain itself unless there is balance here. Between what? Between these two energies that reside inside of us. These two energies of the masculine and the feminine that exist in all. So, beautiful souls, how does that feel for you? Right, I'm going to put a little pause here, and I'm going to record part 2, which I'll release very soon. And in part 2, which I'm really excited about already, we're going to talk about the next keys, right? The rest of the 15 keys, such as going into a state of no expectation, right? Removing the ego, choosing to be the mirror in a holographic universe, right? And what does all that mean? What does it mean to move beyond the limits of physics and biology? Right? That's what we're going to get into in part 2, to connect even more of this beautiful abundance, manifestation, and creation energy into a stream that you deserve to channel. I want to separate these two because there's a lot in here, right? There's a lot here that I want you to take action on, right? In relation to that last step, it's not enough to just feel all of this. This is where you see things like the law of attraction, right? And no judgment if this is you or you're a part of this, but this is where you see them fail. It's because they have half the equation. Half the equation isn't just the feeling and the writing down and the acknowledging and the embodying in the inner world. It's taking action and expressing in the outer world. So I want to encourage you to do that with these words today. You've probably been feeling, as I've been speaking, things already coming up, ideas already moving through you. Manifestations, creation energy moving through you. It's not a coincidence, right? We're in that field together, right? We are not separate, right? In order to make the change, we have to see ourselves as part of the world rather than separate. So do not see yourself as separate to me within this energy. If you're feeling something, use this now and take energy. Take energy into action. Ask yourself what that is. Make a plan. You can plan it for as much as you feel comfortable, but take action on it. It only has to be one step. And what is that step for you today? Okay, beautiful soul. Let me know how this goes. Any thoughts, any questions, any comments? Right, you can always reach out to me on social as always. I want to hear how this resonates for you. Right, you can leave these in reviews in the show as well. That helps me, but also you can share that feedback in that way as well. And I would also encourage you, for new listeners, because I know there's a big chunk of new listeners to the show, go over to Facebook groups, look up Cosmic Love Antenna, join the group, and share your experiences on there as well. Right? We have our own community on Facebook where we're sharing thoughts, feelings, emotions on some of the topics and themes I talk about here on the show. And you can do that over there. I would love to have you. Also, if you're looking to do this kind of work one-on-one, more intimately, to help you take a step forward with all of this, that is what my coaching is for. So I'd love to have you a part of that if you're feeling called, right? If that is your inspired action today, for example, that is going to help you manifest the reality that you deserve, whether it's your health, your relationships, whether it's, your business, life goals, then take that action, reach out. We can talk about what that looks like. But with all of that said, beautiful souls, I wish you a wonderful evening, morning, and night, wherever you are in the world. Until next time here on the show, I love you very much, and I'll see you very soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Love Antenna podcast. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to follow Harrison on Instagram, Twitter, and Clubhouse at Harrison Ma. That's Harrison, MEAGHER.
Electricast.